Welcome to our program Inside Congress. Today, joining us, Congressman Monsour del Rosario of Makati City. You know, it's been quite a while that we had our conversations, and you have seen that Philippine sports has been your life for quite some time, and now you're into politics. But what is so important is what you can do for Philippine sports, knowing that if you were to rate the Philippines in ASEAN, it seems that we have deteriorated for so many years since the time we won the overall crown in 2005. Now that you're there in the halls of power, what can you do at least to see the conditions of Philippine sports improve, given your experience of success in the recent international games that you had in Turkmenistan?
Well, Freddie, what's nice about my position right now, I have a voice that people will listen. The voice of the national athletes, their needs, their problems, solutions for us to get back on top and win, and for us to be the champions that we were before. I think now that because of the position God has given me of being a congressman, people take time to listen to what I have to say. And knowing that I was an Olympian, a former world-class athlete, a Southeast Asian champion, an Asian Games medalist, they know when I speak about competition, international competition, stuff that we need for us to be on top again and to be one of the best in the world. They know I know what I'm talking about.
You know, given the hardships that you've gone through during your time as a national athlete from the 80s all the way to the 90s, if those conditions were there at that time which undermined the performance of our athletes, how different now is your time compared to this time for a Filipino athlete to make it big, not only in the Southeast Asian Games, but the Asian Games and even the Olympics?
Back then, during our time, the other countries were not, they didn't have that much of an advantage. Yes, we were a little behind, but the gap wasn't that big. Unlike today, the gap is bigger. Like I keep repeating myself, other countries in Southeast Asia, like Thailand, has 4 beautiful training centers where their people can go, their athletes can go and train. It's like a beach resort.
And we don't have that here.
We don't have one decent one. We just we had a groundbreaking last month in the new Clark City for the new Olympic training center that will rise there, that will be used in the Southeast Asian Games in 2019. The last time we had one was in 1934. That's older than my mom and dad.
That was the Far East Games.
Yes.
And you're talking of Rizal Memorial, which has deteriorated.
Like I keep saying, one of the reasons maybe I am here is to voice out to our government, to our countrymen, to the people who make the laws in our country, that if they keep complaining about why our Philippine sports is on a low point and what it needs to get on top, maybe my voice to them, they will listen. And I think they are, because slowly, like I keep repeating, the 5 essential things that we need to get back on top, if we have this, as far as the Filipino athlete is concerned, I keep repeating myself, we have a lot of talents. Young, talented Filipino athletes I have seen. International caliber, I have seen their hearts. I know they are willing to compete. They are willing to die for the country. They want to win. But you cannot win all heart, all skill, but no knowledge and no good preparation for them to go to that level.
What seems to be the problem that we are not really discovering and developing the athletes that can compete with the best in the world? You know, I mean, Gintong Alay during your time was there, and you saw really elite athletes. After Gintongala, you had PSC. Yes, we were able to discover and develop some athletes, but sustaining them, these athletes to perform at the world-class level has been a problem, because the problem has not been, it has not been really the athletes, but the leaders that manage these athletes. So how do you deal with leaders?
Okay. When I was an athlete, I didn't believe this. I didn't think this existed. But when I became a sports leader and I got exposed to international competitions, backroom negotiations, I realized that it does exist.
What exactly happens?
I I don't know if I should reveal it on TV, but you got to learn how to negotiate with the organizing committee, the leaders of different countries, how to develop a certain sport and make it more popular in other countries. There's such thing as, a give and take. If one country just dominates everything, you think the other countries would even care to develop that sport in their country?
I don't think so.
Exactly. That's my point. Now, if you share the glory with other countries, then other countries will develop that sport. Now, when I mean share the glory, the fight has to be given to the one who really won the fight.
There should be a level playing field.
Yes, sometimes kasi in international competition, when the fight is equal and your leaders of this particular sport has no knowledge on negotiating international sports politics, no way will our fighter win. We have talent, but our talent, when it's matched to a level that it can go anywhere, we lose because of backroom negotiation. So our leaders have to know that. I'm not saying who, I'm not pinpointing particular sports, but this I have experienced personally in my so many years competing and fighting.
You're talking about competition, but preparations for the games
Like I said, the preparation
is so important, right?
We don't have those 5 essential things, and we're able to equal. If we have that 5 essential things that I keep repeating, we will surpass. We won't even go toe-to-toe anymore. That it can go, kahit kanino na pupunta tong laban, parang patas na. It can go anywhere. I'm sure our athletes will surpass and will dominate their opponents in the ring. So, if we have this, I know we can do it. I know. We will probably even get that elusive Olympic gold medal in Duterte's administration.
It's not just a matter of managing the athletes who we train and who will compete, but it also boils down to resources that are provided to them to ensure that the right conditions. You're talking about the essentials. You're talking about 6. But in terms of training, the build-up, from discovery all the way to being the greatest athlete in one particular sport, that takes time. And if you're talking of the Southeast Asian Games, which we will host in 2019, has the leaders of Philippine sports, whether they are the leaders from the National Sporting Associations or the POC or even the PSC, are now actually in the process of really discovering the would-be winners of gold medals based on the present crop and discovering new ones, di ba?
I hope they're doing that, because all I see is all fighting. All I see is they're bickering. All I see is like, they're like blaming each other, instead of like, okay, let's step aside, let's work together because we gotta beat these guys, right? But who am I, right? Yeah, fine, I'm a congressman, but I'm not on top of the leaderboard, deciding things. I'm helping if they need my help, but I'm not the decision maker when it comes to this big decision makings as far as international sports competition.
Shouldn't your gains or your success in Turkmenistan should provide the inspiration, at least for older sports leaders, to try your way and to see to it that, I mean, bickering and complaining will not provide any results, but really being committed and going all out.
Some are listening. Some are listening, some believe. I hope others too. Because I know they are, because if they weren't, they wouldn't appoint me to be the chef de mission for the 2019 SEA Games again. So I know there are some people who believe in what I'm saying and what I have done, and they want to succeed. So, but like I keep saying over and over again, even if you have the best super duper chef de mission, even if you have the super duper deputy chef de mission, a super duper task force, great athletes, but our leaders don't see eye to eye and are not united in one cause to win that elusive gold medal in the Olympics, to win the overall championships for the SEA Games, then we are doomed. There's no chance in the world we're going to get that if we don't settle our differences, figure out what we need to do to get there. And I'm just saying, from my own personal experiences and opinion as a sportsman, as an international caliber athlete, and fighting in and out of the ring for our country in different roles. I was an athlete, trainer, coach, sports leader. I mean, name it. I wore the jersey for each role that I had to do, to know and understand what we need to get there. So my being here in Congress, I think other congressmen and women listen and appreciate the little knowledge that I can contribute to our problems, why our sports is in a low level right now.
It's not just a matter of leaders, but it's a matter of resources also. But then it comes also, it also boils down to what the national leadership can provide in terms of inspiring our young athletes.
Inspiring, I think I got that covered.
You got that covered.
I think I can do that, because we were the underdogs in Turkmenistan.
Yeah.
We were not expected to win.
Yeah.
People were saying, "Diyan ka masisira, Monsour. Take on that role. You come back and you don't come back with 3 medals, you're done. Sira ang karir mo as a politician, as a congressman." And I'm an athlete, I'm a fighter. I'll take the chance. What if I succeed? Or what if I equal? And we came back and broke the Philippine record, not 2 times, not 3 times, not 4 times. We broke it 10 times over. So people were shocked. How did that happen?
Yeah.
So, and I'm telling you now, and I'm telling them, those who are watching, what we need. You guys want to be on top? Please listen and please help. And we all have to come together, because we're hosting the 2019 SEA Games. And we want to be on top, and we want to make our people proud that we are one of the countries in Southeast Asia that's a superpower force. Then we all have to work together. We have to set our differences aside, and we all have to work together. It's like, I'll repeat this again. Every time Manny Pacquiao fights, everybody's in their house. There's no crimes, everybody's in the street. Nobody's in the street. We have to be like that again in 2019, when 2019 comes.
When 2019 comes, it's not just a matter of our athletes doing their best to win, hopefully, the overall crown, but the preparations that will move between now and 2019. As it is, there's politics as a problem, but then do you see politics being set aside and look?
Fred, there's so much problems in different national sports association that I can't answer all their problems.
What about the infrastructure that should be built? You mentioned earlier,
they
Clark.
already built it. They already did the groundbreaking last month, and according to Secretary Alan Cayetano, when I spoke to him, it will be done by September of 2019, because the SEA Games will be on November 2019. Now, yes, it will have great competition venue, but
For how
right
many
now,
for how many sports? Is that for all the
no, I
sports?
don't think so because they're planning to put the sports events
In different parts of the country,
yes,
including Metro Manila.
well, I don't know about Metro Manila, but what I understand from my last meeting with them, that they're planning to put it in Subic, Bulacan, Zambales, and Clark. So unless they have changed and they let me know, then I can let you guys know. But for now, from my last meeting with them, this is what I gathered from them, that they want to put, these 4 venues will be hosting the SEA Games. So, you know, that's why when there was a lot of problems going on, I just kept, stepped aside for a while because so much problems are going on with the leaders. So I stepped aside and I'm just right now focusing on Philippine Taekwondo Association and Philippine Taekwondo's national team because, as you know, I'm the Secretary General of the Philippine Taekwondo Association and I'm focusing more in here in Congress, my job as a congressman of Makati City, and my services to my constituents in District 1 in Makati City, which sometimes when they don't see me, I want them to understand that the president and the government and our country has asked me to represent the country. That's why I'm out of the country most of the time competing for our country. But I carry Makati City District 1 people. So I keep telling them, you guys be proud because the leader for us, for a big international sporting event, comes from Makati City District 1. Your congressman. So if sometimes I'm not there, it's not because I'm having a vacation. It's because I'm working for the country.
How do you see the importance of what you do representing the country in ensuring that your constituents from District 1 will inspire them to do good things for their respective communities, especially when you talk about the basic problems. Yeah, because di ba?
I hope they're smart enough to figure out the difference between, you know, someone who's inspiring them to aspire certain things than someone who's doing the opposite. So, you know, I want them to know that despite the fact that I'm out of the country fighting for our country, the services of my city, of my district, continues, you know, and it doesn't stop because I'm away. It continues.
As a congressman for the 1st District of Makati City, well, it's the center of, you know, I mean, it's the center of the country actually. How does your district shine as a model local government in terms of, you know, having being provided with the delivery of basic services, especially for areas in your district which could have certain problems?
Well, you know, Fred, every budget given to our office from the national government, every centavo to the last cent goes to my constituents. I felt a little sad and bad last year because we had some problems, and I won't speak about those problems, you know, on air. But I had to return about 3 million pesos to DSWD because of this particular problem. But I'm guaranteeing everybody in District 1, starting today, you will get everything and nothing will be returned to the national government to the last centavo. Guaranteed. Trust me.